it at the middle of October, and we're about to go into what's likely to be for all of us a very busy holiday bound couple of months. And actually, what I'm going to talk about this week, I planned to do in November, but the more I thought about it, I wanted to push it back a little bit to try to give you and your family more time to kind of think about the content of this and see if this is something that strategically would fit well within the mission of your family, and give you plenty of opportunity to get the kids to really sink their teeth into these opportunities. So what we're going to talk about is really purposing to take advantage of the opportunities that the next couple of months are going to provide to teach your children to look outside of themselves, to find ways to show God's love and kindness to other people as they are learning that it's more blessed to give than to receive, that it's actually more fun to show kindness and give love to others than it is even to have it heaped upon you, and to just give them a view of the needs of those around them. This provides just a great platform for discipleship. It will enhance every element of your homeschool and your family. So I want you to seriously consider some of these things. I'm going to throw out, I've got 7 different ways here that I'm going to throw out that you can get involved in the lives of others, but this doesn't even scratch the surface of all the ways that you can do it. I really just wanted to whet your appetite and get you thinking along those lines. And then quite frankly, I would love to hear in our Facebook group or via email some of the ways that your family does it, because I would love to include some of those ideas in a follow-up to this video. But one of the first ways that you can really get involved and show God's love to others is just look right around your house. Look in your neighborhood. Now, we live in a time where, unlike a lot of times in the past, we're not going door to door a lot to borrow a cup of sugar or an egg. Or, we don't have that really close-knit relationship with our neighbors most often. We're super busy. Our neighbors are super busy. Our paths don't cross an awful lot. So we have to be very intentional about building those relationships. I want to tell you about a few things that our family has done through the years that has really helped with that. I am burdened for my neighbors. I am burdened for those that live around me. I go out walking a lot and try to talk to as many people as I can, but I don't see a lot of people out. But there is coming a day in the very near future where a lot of people will be out. And our family has taken advantage of this in the past. So I want to tell you what we have done on October 31st. Now, I know some of you are going to kind of buckle at the idea of even acknowledging that this exists. But here's the thing. On October 31st, everybody around you is opening their doors. Everybody is out and about. That provides you a very strategic opportunity to get out and meet some people. So here is what we did when our kids were younger and have continued to do, not every year while they've been bigger, but we've done it from time to time. But we did it for years and years and years when they were younger. We would make 5 or 6, sometimes up to 10 baskets with pumpkin bread, apple butter, all these homemade things that we would put in, along with a card usually that had some fall art, some Bible verses and that kind of thing. And we would go out on a night when people are going door to door to receive things. We would strategically pick a few neighbors around us, and we would shift those every year, and we would go to give them things and just to reach out and meet them because we knew that they would open their door. They were, without exception, shocked every time that we showed up with, "Here, this is for you. We just wanted to come out and say hi." I mean, really, that is the extent of what we did. And the Lord allowed us to just bridge gaps that way and to use that night when, again, people's porch lights are on and they're opening their doors and everybody's kind of in this fun, festive mood by and large. We were able to go out and really have decent conversations and meet people in our neighborhood, and our children were able to give things instead of always looking at ways to receive things. So that's one of the things that we did to try to reach out to our neighbors. We actually did something very similar at Thanksgiving and Christmas where we would take out to other neighbors different baskets of stuff. Just this time of year actually affords us a really unique opportunity to walk up to the door and to give our neighbors something. It doesn't have to cost much. It costs almost nothing, quite frankly, because I would go to the dollar store to buy something to put these things in, or I would just buy tins and I would make bread and we'd wrap it up and we'd just take out bread. So it doesn't have to be a big deal, but it makes a huge impact on those around us when they see, wow, somebody, these are kids that are actually going out and thinking of other people. That's not the norm anymore. And so I encourage you to look for strategic ways over the next few months to get out and meet your neighbors. That's also going to afford you the opportunity to look for ways, which is number 2, to meet needs that you see in your neighborhood or your church or whatever. It could be as simple as mowing the yard. Is probably out of season for that for a lot of you guys. We're still mowing the yard here in South Carolina. It could be mowing the yard for someone who's had surgery or is ill and just can't keep up with stuff that's going on. My daughters recently had the opportunity to serve a lady in our church who has always just given and given and given to other people, but she's had some health problems and has really struggled and is in a lot of pain. And our girls were able to go over a few times in the last couple of months just to help her get her house back in order, get ready for a shower, whatever that she is doing. They've been able to go on and work with her on that. Now that gives them the opportunity to spend time with a godly saint of another generation, and they are learning from her about what it looks like to walk like a Christian, and they are ministering to her at the same time. And it means so much to all parties to see that service handed out like that. So it's been a great learning experience for my girls. You may find that people are moving or needing help with furniture or something like that. That's something that your boys can get involved in. There have been many, many weekends where my boys and David have gone out early to help someone move something or take care of something that they just reached out and needed help for. These are very simple ways to meet needs of those around you and really forge relationships. I wanted to tell you about something that happened to me when this was several years ago. My children were younger. We were in the middle of a busy travel season. Things get very chaotic and out of order in our house when we're doing the Teach Them Diligently conventions and we're in the thick of it. So it's always a struggle. And when the kids were younger, it was a much bigger struggle because they weren't as much help as they are now. So I would get to the point where I was not only exhausted, but I was truly, truly frustrated because there was just disorder all around me and I couldn't do anything about it. Well, while we were gone one weekend, some cleaning fairies broke into my house, and some dear friends of mine came in and they cleaned my house from top to bottom. And when I came back and I saw that, the load that took off of me, the blessing that was to me, is something I will never, ever forget. And I imagine that the cleaning fairies had a really good time doing it. They were all here together. I don't even know who all was involved. But that meant the world to me. And it probably took them a few hours of their time. So I encourage you to look for ways that you can encourage someone like that will have an impact on their life for the rest of their life. I have looked for ways that I can pass that kind of a blessing on to other people ever since they did that for me. The third thing is just random acts of kindness. This is a great way to get your children involved, because if I were you, I would start right now with looking at November and December and strategically planning out some things that would be random acts of kindness that you guys can do. You may not want to do every day of those 2 months. That's kind of overwhelming. Although your kids may be real go-getters, but you may say, twice a week. Let's come up with ideas for twice a week where we go out and just bless somebody randomly. We read stories of these kind of random acts of kindness, and they warm our hearts, and they give us, faith in mankind again, which obviously is not where our faith is put, but it is nice to read those stories. Let's give our children the opportunity to actually experience the giving side of that. Let's give them a thirst for doing stuff like that for other people, so that they are not looking at themselves. They're realizing the world does not revolve around me, but rather that this is a great opportunity for me to bless someone else, show Jesus's love to someone else, and to just extend that kindness. Another way is to find ways to volunteer. I'm including with the additional resources to this video a number of great ideas for ways that you can get involved in your community, but also different organizations that need volunteers and different ways to volunteer. So if this is something that your family could get involved in, take a look at that. I was astonished, actually, because I had a very small view of what the needs were and how my family could get involved. So I encourage you now to look at that. Some of the ways that make a lot of sense for us as Christians to get involved in others' lives is, Meals on Wheels. You could go out with your children one day a week or one day every 2 weeks or whatever the schedule would be in your community. Take food out to someone who is stuck at home, who's probably very lonely, who you all coming into their home could quite possibly be the highlight of their entire week or month. And give your children the opportunity to interact with those individuals, to talk to them about things of the Lord. There are a lot of times that children can speak to adults about things of the Lord in ways that adults can't speak to others. David wasn't saved until he was 24 years old, though he grew up in a Christian church. He grew up in church. He was in youth group and Sunday school, all this stuff. He heard the gospel throughout his growing up years. But by the time that he was 24, he was very cynical and jaded. And he has said numerous times that the fact that he wound up in a church one night where 3, 4, and 5-year-olds were doing a skit about Nicodemus, and it wasn't a preacher preaching, because he said if a preacher had said the same things that those children were saying, he would have turned them off because he was jaded and cynical. But you cannot question the motives of a child. They have this purity about them that even the hardest of hearts have a hard time getting past. So allow your children to use that passion that they may have for the Lord and that sincerity that they have in what they say to minister to the hearts of others. Meals on Wheels is a great way to do that. Stuff to do through your library, through after school programs. We've got some inner city after school programs here where teenagers can go down and actually tutor these elementary kids who don't have parents at home that are willing to help them with things. This gives them a great opportunity to get their hands dirty and really get involved in the lives of others. Stuff like that are just wonderful ways to teach your children to look at other people and get involved in the lives of others. And it may become something that really gets part of their DNA, where they just love to serve other people. And that's exactly what I think all of us would want deep down. This is a good time to start that. Another idea is just gathering with a group of friends to go out and minister in nursing homes or extended care facilities and that kind of thing. Just go visit with the residents. Again, this is a good time to build relationships, to bring sunshine and laughter and joy to people who may or may not get an awful lot of visitors. So very easy way for you guys to go out and make an impact no matter how old your children are. And it will bless your children because they will have conversations with people that are very interesting and very cool and have stories to tell that are unlike anything that their experience has played out. So it really, truly is a great academic exercise because they'll hear of things of the past, but it's also a great service opportunity for your family. And then finally, just be strategic about how your children can give. I've done another video about the way that our family gives to each other, and I'll link that down below. But one of the things that we started doing when my children were very young is they would save up their money to buy Christmas presents for David and I and for their siblings, and we would all go out together and run through the store and hide, and it was a very clandestine type of a thing, but it was fun, and the kids were so excited about the gifts that they were able to get for others that they honestly, when it came time to open them, they didn't want to open presents themselves. They wanted to see their siblings open their presents and David and I open our presents. And they were learning that it's more blessed to give than receive. And even now that they're older and they could literally go out on their own anytime to do their shopping, they still want to do it the way we've always done it because it is such a deeply held tradition in our family and such a part of who they are and why they love to give. So I just really want to encourage you to find ways to help your kids get really strategic about how they give. But whatever of these you choose, or any other amount of ways to have your children look outside themselves, I hope that will become a theme in the days to come. Really, really teaching your children to show God's love to those around them, to get involved in the lives of others, and to maximize this holiday season in particular as a way to get those habits started. So happy thinking. I'd love to hear from you about what ideas you come up with. Send me an email, go to the Facebook group and drop us a comment. Whatever, drop a comment on this video. But let us know so that we can share those ideas with others, and I will look forward to seeing you again next week. If you enjoyed this video, you've got to check out Teach Them Diligently 365. Every week, there are even more thorough videos and chats about things that are interesting to you year-round.